All I can think of is Skoda and Scala. So I have spent a long time examining the Skoda Scala and I have found it left wanting. Now, if you want to find out exactly what I'm talking about in this, hit the subscribe button. Let's have a look at what makes this very impressive car fundamentally flawed for 35,000 euros. We're going to start on the inside. So come on, let's go. Okay, now I know I've tested this car internationally in Croatia and here in Ireland on a short review, but I've actually spent a bit of time with it now. So this car is a 1.5 TSI coupled to a 7-speed DSG box. I'm going to leave that because that's where a lot of the flaws are. And what we're going to look at is what isn't flawed, right? So where I sit, the sitting position is very good. There's a lot of adjustments in this electric driver's seat. It's electric, it's an option in this one, but it's electric. So there's a lot of adjustment, a lot of tilting and a lot of, you can move forward and back and up and down. There's quite a bit of adjustment in the car and it gets very low when it wants to be and very high when you want that to be. I have a sunroof, optional extra as well, which goes the full length of the roof here. It's covered in currently at the moment, just getting a little bit of direct sunlight off the car. And I have manual instrument binnacle here rather than the electronic one, which has kind of become its standard across the Volkswagen range. And when you start it up, you are presented with a number of things. Make sure the radios come on. So I have a decent infotainment system here. It's a wide machine, but it's actually quite a narrow little screen that's built into it, which I find a little bit weird. Because it looks like you could easily make this a lot wider because it's pulled down from the top and all sorts of stuff. You can do all kinds of privacy issues and all that comes up on it. But it looks like it's got a lot of dead black space on it, which I'm not too keen on, I have to say. I'd rather see that full width. I'd like to see the electronic dashboard in here as well. Oh, thanks for coming on there after 20 minutes. Then I have dual zone climate control below that has manual buttons on it, which is nice. So you've got a knob to turn things up and down. It works. Heated seats on the front here as well. You can click a menu button here and bring up a menu that allows you to be able to touch screen all the heating controls. So unlike a lot of car companies, Skoda managed to do both. 2 vents here in the front, 2 vents either side, nicely balanced. I'm not keen necessarily on this touch screen thing here. It looks like it's plugged in, like I'm going to be able to plug it out and bring it with me, but you can't. But I'd rather it was blend a bit more into the screen, but that's okay. It works, it's fine. And I have a really big glove box on that side, which I quite like. Coming into the middle here, I have a wireless charging tray. That is an option. The wireless charging tray, I think it's €350 in Ireland. And I have 2 USB-C ports here. Now, I think that's a bit of a land grab. I had to get one of these things, which is, I can't remember where I got this. Did I get this in PC World or somewhere? It's a converter from USB-C to standard USB. Not an awful lot to buy another bloody cable to plug in here. So what I'm going to request you do is, if you're buying a new car and it's got a USB-C cable, ask your dealer for a converter to USB and explain that you want it for free. Bob Flavin said, I'd get that for free, right? Because if they're going to make the expense on us to buy more cables, they're going to foot the expense themselves. Anyway, the wireless charging cable is there. I don't do wireless charging, I couldn't tell you after that. A whole heap of buttons that are missing buttons here, blanks, apart from the stop-start system, which you can turn on. This has a physical handbrake, real one, even though it's DSG. And that's pretty much everything you get up front. Nothing is wrong here, fundamentally. I do find the media system a bit buggy. I do find at times, wait till I get my phone here and see if it works this time. So I have my phone here and I'm going to plug it in and you'll see what I'm talking about. So when I plug it in here, I should get a message saying Apple CarPlay has become available immediately. But I do find it doesn't bother. Sometimes it doesn't register at all that I've connected a phone, even though it's charging it right now, right? I have to go into app and then it shows me Bob's phone right here, but it doesn't show me Apple CarPlay. Connection with Bob's phone failed. I do get this a lot, and I don't get this in other cars because I've connected this phone to millions of cars with Apple CarPlay. So I'll plug it out and plug it back in again, and now it's working again. So now it's going up with loading and it's going to load up the Apple CarPlay. No, its connection failed again. So again, I get another failure on the CarPlay, and yet it is actually playing by Bluetooth in the background. I can't turn it up because I get a copyright strike, but it is actually playing from my Bluetooth in the background. And sometimes when it's connected, that it suddenly just disconnects, just in the middle of a call or something's happening, and all of a sudden it disconnects. Now I can't say that that's across the Volkswagen group at the moment, but it certainly is with this particular car. It seems to be having that problem. I can plug it in, plug it out multiple times. I've tried different cables, I've tried different connections, I've tried everything, and it just doesn't work for me. So that's a big bugbear for me. Now, you do get cup holders here, which is capable of carrying that, and a little tiny glove box at the back of that. So it's all pretty good here, apart from the buggy screen in the background. Now, we're going to look at the second row of seats before we come to any of the big fundamental problems with the Skoda. Tea is going cold now, but anyway, right, back seat. First of all, without this glass roof here, it's going to be pitch black back here. I'll close the door now, I'll show you what I mean. The minute I close it, it actually darkens the whole thing. It's beautifully tinted back here. It's quite a comfortable place to be, but only if you have this glass roof. That's a 900 and something euro option, I think. I was looking at the options this morning, I can't remember exactly how much it is. You've got lights on both sides, which are all halogen type lights. You have a back pocket here on both seats for the driver and passenger. I have two air vents here in front of me, but no way of controlling them. One of them looks like it's taking a little bit of damage, actually. Yeah, a little bit. Anyway, one of them's a little bit damaged. That's just a press card thing. Two USB-C ports back here. It's great C USB in the back for charging for the rear passengers, but it's not much use to you if you don't have a USB-C cable, because you're going to be stuck without being able to charge anything if you're like 99% of the world that has a USB cable of your own. I have a center armrest here with two cup holders built in. There's no ski load through in this thing, or no through loader here, but you can drop the seat. A 60/40 on this car, so you will be able to get things in to the big boot in this car as well. Isofix on both sides, and there's 3 seat belts, and you might, on a very short journey, you will get someone in the middle of this, but it is going to be definitely a squeeze. It's a broad car, but it's not the biggest car for that kind of passenger, but you will get a child in here. You'll get 2 Isofix seats on either side, and you won't get any more in the middle. Right, on to the boot. Or the trunk, as it is in American parlance. Anyway, as you can see the back here, this is all window. That's all glass, all the way down to the word Skoda, as far as I can see. Again, the word Skoda blazoned across the back. The little kind of bird over the S actually means you say it as SCH. So you say Skoda, like you're saying sh at the beginning of it, Skoda, right? But in Ireland, the parlance is Skoda, as we've said it forever. Anyway, this one has an electric tailgate. That's an option, and we have a large boot that's in here as well. The boot wins. It has 4 shopping bag hooks on it. We have top tethers on both sides. We've got a nice little cubby hole over here to one side, and there's absolutely tons of space for my backpack and jacket, drone, and underneath that I have a spare wheel. So the boot on this wins a lot. Now, in the drive, I'm going to get into why the 1.5 TSI coupled to the 7-speed DSG might not be the best option for you, because it's got some problems. So hit the subscribe button and let's go for a drive. Okay, so we're going to play a little game. This has a 1.5 litre TSI engine connected to a 7-speed DSG box. Sounds like a dream combination, doesn't it? But in actual fact, it's 150 horsepower in the 1.5. When you put your foot down, I'm going to time this for you, right? So I'm doing 80 kilometers an hour, and I'm going to tell you when my foot goes down, and I'm going to tell you when the power comes on. Wait, ready? Here we go. I'm going to floor it. 3, 2, 1, go. There's the power. See that big long gap that happened right there? There's a huge gap between flooring it and predictable power. So predicting when you're going to get that power out of a corner, out of a roundabout, whatever. Not talking about extreme power here, but it's weird because there's nothing, and then all at once you get all 150 horsepower, and it scrabbles wheels, and it does even at low speed, even like pulled over. I have to do it, right? I have to do it. Pull over, hold on a second, because this affects all 1.5 TSI engines that are tuned like this one. Let some cars pass me by here. I'm on a B road out in the back end of nowhere here, beside somebody's house who has a lovely little collie. Just a couple of cars passing by. Okay, so we're going to do this from standstill, right? So this is what I'm talking about. So 1, 2, 3, go. There's a big delay. There's all the power now at once, but like if I do that again, I'll show what I mean. So suppose I'm sitting at a T-junction, right? I'm sitting there waiting, floor it. Nothing. Then, oh my God, all of the power. There's such a big delay between the power and the torque actually arriving for you. That's not the only flaw of this engine that I found either, particularly coupled to the 7-speed. The second flaw is that this car does a 2-cylinder shutdown. So it shuts down 2 of the 4 cylinders to save you fuel. It definitely does save you fuel. Fuel economy of this car has been second to none since I got it. 5.2 litres per 100 kilometres, something like that. Really good fuel economy from it. But between 1300 and 2000 RPM, there's a shudder. There's a massive shudder, particularly when it's cold. So when you put your foot down and you're trying to move the car along, I'm not talking about flooring in here, I'm just talking about getting it going. The car seems to not know what gear or how many cylinders to turn on. It seems to happen in just that little tiny band of 1300 to 2000 RPM. Particularly when the car is cold, that happens immediately. When it's warm, it's definitely not as noticeable, but in the morning, this morning particularly, it was kind of a cool autumn morning here in Ireland, a little bit damp outside, and it seemed to have this problem. Anyway, other niggly points that I find a little bit annoying as well is you can turn on and off the active assist systems, right? So you just click the little button here and it opens up the lane assist and stuff. When you turn them off, you get rid of them. When you turn off the car and turn it on again, they're turned back on. They're back on where they started. Everything's turned back on again. It auto turns everything on. Why does it do that? Why can I not decide to turn stuff off? I find lane assist actually really annoying in Ireland because we have lines on some roads and no lines on others, and the car catches some lines and no other lines and a few lines and maybe that line, maybe not that line, and you get this sudden movement in the steering wheel that wasn't there before. Really oddball stuff. Now, for the plus side of this car, so that's where it all kind of falls apart and gets very annoying. The tech behind is a little bit weedy. There is some good points, right? Skoda's still doing the Simply Clever stuff, so there's still an ice scraper in the petrol cap holder. There's still an umbrella in this door here. It's tucked into the outside. It's in the door sill of the car. Still plenty of room, plenty of places to put things. A bottle fits perfectly into the bottle holder here, easily, big bottles. Loads of storage, loads of places to put your sunglasses, to put other equipment. You got good lighting. The car rides well, so as I'm driving along the road here, even though the surface here has gone to muck as I'm driving along, this is the old Monstrevan road, it's very rough along here, and yet the car is really quiet and gets on with the job very well. It's like as if they created a car that was very good and then suddenly the emissions got in the way, the WLTP got in the way, they had to detune the engine a little bit, they had to change the gear setup ratio so it wouldn't interfere with anything else, and it's just all these other little factors that have kind of spoiled it, kind of spoiled the feeling of this car. And it's not as if I can go at you and say that, well, you know what, it's very affordably priced. It isn't really. It's, you know, this car is well in excess of 36 grand, so you know that's not cheap by any means, and it is a 5-door hatchback, but there's better 5-door hatchbacks out there than it now, and it's the first time I get to say that about Skoda as a brand, that there's a car in the brand that's letting the brand down a little bit. It's cheapening the whole thing. The whole experience is altered in my mind a little bit. And yet they have the Octavia, which is an exceptionally good car. Superb. It's a brilliant car. Kodiaq, the Kamac even is a good car as well. I haven't driven in Ireland, but it's very good here. There's so many good cars in a range, and now it seems to be just caught by this weird engine, gearbox, and setup that the whole car has. I'm not sure why they've gone that route. It's got to be profits. It's got to be coming down from Volkswagen Group, because the bits that I'm complaining about are Volkswagen Group parts. 1.5 TSI, 7-speed DSG come out of the Volkswagen toolbox. It's not as if I'm trying to completely put you off the car. The car rides well, it handles well, it goes nicely when you can ignore the kind of hesitancy in the gearbox. It's just there's little things that should be gotten absolutely spot on because it's Skoda and they are the Simply Clever team. And this isn't really Simply Clever. This feels like a sort of a compromise. I'm still waiting for the electric cars to come. I know there's a new Octavia on the way. I know the Superb has been updated for a hybrid thing, a PHEV thing, and we're still waiting to drive that as well. So there's so much happening within the brand. I think there's something after fundamentally just going missing on it. Just something has changed, and it's very annoying to see that happen. Overall and fundamentally, this is a really good car. Underneath this engine, this gearbox, there lurks a really good, honest little car. And I think if you bought it in the 1 litre petrol, in a manual version, you wouldn't see the problems that I'm seeing here now, apart from the safety equipment constantly being on and the buggy technology behind this. I think a software update will probably solve that gearbox engine problem. I really do think that you'll hear a recall at some point, and it'll just come in and do a software update and it'll eradicate that problem. But right now, it's annoying to see it come out, and I feel aggrieved in a way because other journalists haven't pointed this out to you. You know, I seem to be the only one talking about it. I've looked at other videos and I don't see anyone else saying it, so I thought I was a madman until this morning when I drove the car. Now, hopefully you have learned what you need to know about the Skoda Scala, or Skoda Scala, or whatever you call it. You can hit the subscribe button whenever you like. It's free, totally free, whatever you want, but there is a number of ways to support the channel underneath in the description. If you think, because there's no one paying me for these reviews here, if you think you want us to subscribe and support the channel, then hit one of the links down below and give us your support. It's always appreciated, it's very necessary, and it keeps the channel running. Thank you very much for watching, and until the next time, I will see you on the far side.